welcome in everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. I'm your host, Bo, and of course, Pags is on assignment today. We got McLovin here, and Dustin is also missing in action. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing wonderful, man. It's been a good week, man, and hopefully we can avoid some more hurricane weather. I know there's a couple of tropical storms out there, but hopefully they would just pass me by.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long storm season ahead, so hopefully they don't all hit you.
Man, listen, after Noah's Ark just came through here, I tell you what, it can't be that bad. You know, and for these guys that don't know, it went all the way up to Wisconsin, so it affected a whole lot of people. I'll tell you. Hi, Miss Featherwood, otherwise known as Miss Crouch. Unless he has a different last name, then I'm sorry.
Nope. You are good. So before we got on air, you were talking about an Italian show. And so although this is a sports show, this sounded hilarious. So we might as well plug this thing. I feel like if you're tuning into the show, you'll probably have to turn the volume down a little bit. Certainly not wearing headphones. So what tell everybody what the premise of this show is going to be, because it sounds entertaining.
Are we talking about what we were talking about just now, right? About the Italian food?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking about lasagna and how it hits a little differently. So I don't know.
But you were talking about the show it's going to be just Italian food.
Oh, I'm sorry about. Okay. So my buddy Mark Mancini, he's got a show that's going to be about growing up Italian. You can find that on Entertainment Sports or Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. I still don't understand that name sometimes, but ESEN for short on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But anyhow, it's all about growing up Italian, you know. And as you know, Pags is Italian, my aunt's Italian, Bo, I know your wife's Italian. So there's a lot of Italian influences that run throughout this show, and really a lot. I mean, you know, there's a lot of Italian influence in America, right? I mean, I think Christopher Columbus was an Italian, if I'm not mistaken. He might not have been. I don't know. I think he was. And if he wasn't, he was damn close to being Italian. I'll tell you that.
From the same continent? Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, same continent. Okay, close enough. Damn it. Well, you know, he found America by mistake, right? I think he was trying to go somewhere else. I think he was trying to do some kind of weird route around India, and he wound up in America. So,
he was trying to find India, which is why he called everybody that was here Indians, because that was.
I realized that. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense now.
That was the quest. They were looking for India. They didn't know this continent existed. They thought they were going to float around, find India, because that was a trade partner. So that they were trying to sell them stuff. They land here. To them, they discover the new world.
Oh, that's crazy. So yeah. And I learned something. Honestly, I didn't know how Indians got their name. Now it makes perfect sense, and my whole world just got brought into full perspective. But no, so stay tuned for more information as I find out the name of that, because I don't even know if they have a name for this show yet. I know they were just throwing around ideas last night. So as more of the information gets available, I will get that out to you guys, and hopefully we can convince Pags to come on the show for the debut, and it would be nice to see him talk Italian stuff with a bunch of other Italians, and also my buddy Gio Gump out of New York for Grow Local. I think is the name of his influencing message. He's all about local growers making local products for these restaurants, and so he's real big into that. And we'll talk more about that. So stay tuned. More information to follow. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. Well, and of course, you know, as we were, again, before we got on air, we were talking about Italian food, and now I'm just hungry. So thanks for that, because we have just an hour to go on the show before I can eat anything. So
don't deprive yourself. It's okay.
That's right. So, obviously the way we got to kick this show off is the passing of a absolute legend in Willie Mays. And, it had such a huge impact on the game. Obviously, his stats are crazy. But, one of the things that I always remember, obviously, I didn't see him play. But one of the things I always remember watching clips of is how much fun he had playing the game. And, just some of the showmanship that he would bring to it, like wearing a hat that was too small so that it would fall off because he knew the fans liked watching hat fly off as he rounded the base, and the basket catches out in the outfield. And I mean, even the over the shoulder catch headed up to the wall. When that play is made today, they still reference it as a Willie Mays catch. So, I mean, such a huge impact on the game, and is still in the forefront of people's minds, even when they're commentating.
Yeah, like you. Number one, also, by the way, since we're talking about Willie Mays and celebrating the life of Willie Mays, don't forget today is Juneteenth, which is another obviously a holiday. Biden just made it a national holiday, so I want to say to everybody out there, happy Juneteenth.
Yep.
I'll tell you a little real quick. Juneteenth actually was a Texas holiday, and then it became a national holiday. Juneteenth is when they freed the slaves. That was the last of the freeing of the slaves in the South, and it happened to be out in Galveston, which is where it actually originated. Now it's national. So happy Juneteenth. Back to Willie Mays, though. Like you said, I mean, he's a part of our history books, just as much as Hank Aaron is. I mean, those guys are almost synonymous with each other in terms of what they've contributed to the game of baseball and things of that nature. And I believe Willie Mays was part of the Negro Leagues, like Hank Aaron was. Am I right on that?
I believe.
Or was he a little bit after that era?
Yeah, when he entered.
I know the Negro Leagues went up to 1960, and I was thinking Willie Mays was kind of in that category. I thought it was either the 60s or the 70s. I wasn't 100%.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been right there. So I mean, I would believe it. I'm not entirely sure. Baseball isn't. I'm not as well versed as far as the history of baseball in that way. So that I don't know offhand.
He was. He played for. He played for the Birmingham Black Barons when he was just a teenager.
Okay.
So so he began his professional career at Rickwood Field playing for the Birmingham Black Barons when he was just a teenager. So yeah, I mean, and I bring that up to say this, it's only like 29 players that actually came from the Negro Leagues into professional MLB baseball, and he was one of those 29, along with Hank Aaron and a lot of other, I think Satchel Paige and stuff. So, I mean, this is literally a lot of history that has left us today, not just MLB, but even before MLB or right after MLB. So that's a lot, for a man to go through in the game of baseball.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, he made it to 93. So it's not like the life was cut short. Just amazing guy inside and out of baseball.
Yeah, he actually, I was looking at a little bit more into him, and he started his career with the Giants in MLB in 1951. 4 years after Jackie Robinson played his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers, he became known as the Say Hey Kid because of his youth exuberant style of play and habit of greeting people with the phrase "Say Hey." So that's just
some of that couldn't remember people's names. And you know what? I think we're all guilty of that. Especially when you're
guilty of that. It happens.
No, that's what I mean. You're like, hey, man, like,
what's up, brother? Don't know that. I know your face. Don't know your name, but I'm going to call you brother.
Exactly. I know you've told it to me 500 times, but
The awkwardness of all when you know you should know the name and you don't know, so you just say brother because you feel like, well, I know you well enough. I'm going to call you brother.
Yeah, that's right. Either that or you make the game of it where you are. Like if I'm with my wife and I don't introduce someone, a lot of times it's because I'm like,
yeah.
You know what? Let's pretend I'm a bad host. You introduce yourself and be like, oh, hey, sorry.
So you put the pressure from you and you transfer it over to whoever may be next to you, whether it be the wife or another family member or a friend.
100%. You jump on that bomb for me. And thanks for saving everybody. Oh, look at this. We got Pags jumping in. How's it going, man?
Oh, yeah, I'm driving still.
Oh, okay.
Stuck in traffic.
I got you.
Figured I'd jump on and see what you guys were talking about. Obviously, I guess it's Willie Mays.
Yeah. We're touching on the life of Willie Mays a little bit. Just the joy that he played with, and really some of the change he brought to the game.
Yeah, and he was a baseball player, right?
He did.
Well, he sure as heck wasn't tennis.
He did dabble in baseball.
Okay.
Maybe it was cricket he dabbled in. I
don't know. So what all do you have on your slate today there, Pags?
Just trying to get to the beach. I learned that when you drive in the middle of the day, there's traffic.
Shocker.
I hope you brought your sunblock with you.
I did. It's only going to get worse, actually. It's supposed to get like up to 100 degrees this week.
Ooh.
Well, welcome to Houston weather.
Well, Houston weather, I would need it to flood for like 12 days, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true, because there's nothing better than 100 degrees of heat, a whole lot of rain, and a shit ton of mosquitoes.
I mean,
I'd say that's America's pastime.
At least we're finally getting some sun today. It's been this rainy, blustery, terrible weather for the last like 4 or 5 days, and today it's going to be sunny and 75, which is nice.
Yeah, that sounds nice, but it's Seattle up there, so I figure you guys would be used to the rain.
It's a little later in the year than we're ready to continue entertaining it. we're ready for some sun. It's been raining since November, so
I get it.
We're a little bored. We're a little bored with it. So once the sun finally comes back out, we're just like, oh, hey, what's that shiny thing? So, I mean, weirdly, everybody forgets how to drive in it the first couple times because they're like, oh, there's this shiny thing in the sky I can't see.
Oh, they forget the sunglasses. They gotta put them back in the car again.
No question. Yeah, I think we actually sell more sunglasses per capita than anywhere in the U.S. because you can go so long in between sunny days, you just lose the things, have to buy new ones.
I understand completely. Thank God that the stadiums give out pairs of sunglasses sometimes, because that's what I typically use. Whatever sunglasses they give me.
I mean, it's not a bad way to go.
Well, it definitely saves my money on sunglasses, because I tell you what, if I spent like $250 on a pair of Ray-Bans or something like that, I would lose them just as easy as I lose these, $2 knockoffs.
Oh, no question. Yeah. I've done that at the airport before, where I went to check in and I set my glasses down, and then I went on with my day and did not pick them up. And whoever came and got the free $200 pair of glasses, I'm sure were ecstatic. I was going somewhere sunny and was kind of bummed out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Hey, listen, I took the wife. I wanted to do something really special for her. She never had a nice pair of glasses. She always had the Dollar Tree specials for her whole life. And I said, I'm going to get you a nice pair of sunglasses. You deserve it. You work hard. So I took her down there to the little sunglass hut in the Galleria. Spent about $400. Nice pair of Ray-Bans. I think it was Ray-Bans, but either way, it was $40. So it was $40 worth of damn sunglasses. I said, don't you lose this. Don't you break it.
Those things made it 20 minutes.
Bro, like he had it for about 2 months, and because I got it for her like right before summer, and I took her to the beach, and this woman goes out to the damn water with her sunglasses on, and decides she wants to dunk herself. Not realize she had sunglasses on. Well, God only knows where those things are. She come back sobbing and crying. I lost my sunglasses. I said, yep, you're going back to Dollar Tree specials. How'd it work out for you?
Absolutely.
And I've never gotten her a pair of expensive sunglasses ever again. Dollar Trees, that's all we do.
It's funny. I don't typically buy expensive ones anymore either. I just get the, beach special from the shores of Mexico. So you're going to spend like, $20 maybe. And because I'm going to go do dumb stuff in them.
Oh, absolutely.
I lost a pair in Jamaica. Or not Jamaica, Honduras. I went on a jet ski. And I'm out there jumping waves and having a good time. And then I just misjudged one. And instead of jumping onto the backside of a wave. I jumped right into the face of another one.
Oh, damn.
So, I was fine, but my sunglasses and my hat were long gone.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to keep those things at all. I tell you, if we could ever figure out a way or if we could ever invent and take it on Shark Tank where we could have, they have those photographic lenses for your glasses. If we could get some transitional lenses for contacts, we'd have it made, man. Could you imagine that?
Yes, I can imagine that. And that would, on its face, it sounds great. But
it does, doesn't it?
When you think of what it would take to change, like if they were slow to change back, you're just going to be blind.
Go get your lenses, pray.
Well, because it's not like your glasses where you can just pop them off if they don't transition quite fast enough.
Yeah,
they're in your eyes, so you're just standing at the entry of a doorway, like I hope I can see soon.
Has anybody got a flashlight? In the middle of the day, like I gotta see here what's going on. Well, the funny thing is that as we're talking about sunglasses, all the sunglasses are made in one spot.
Yeah,
like they're really the $10 pair and the $10,000 pair are all made by the same exact company. There is a video about this actually. It's all the glasses, every pair of glasses in the world is made at one company.
So this dude's got a monopoly on the sunglasses market.
Yeah, that there's a whole bunch of different companies underneath. All
the umbrella of that company.
Right. Yeah, buy from the one company.
Yeah, I mean, all they do is paint different names on them. Like, there's really no.
Yeah,
I've had just as good a luck with knockoff Ray-Bans as I have real ones.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but again, it doesn't have the name on there, so
See, I just paint a little O on my glasses, and then everybody thinks they're Oakleys.
All you need is a stencil. Who would know the damn difference? It's the same thing with purses. Like, look at Louis Vuitton. Is there leather and that makes those? Are they any different than the damn leather that's any other? I mean, leather is leather, right? But yet it's astronomical in price compared to all the other ones, right? I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy how much things cost.
He's talking about his purses.
What leather are we talking about?
No, I'm just saying, like, so the wife wanted a new purse, and I was like, well, we ain't getting no Louis Vuitton. Those things are like thousands of dollars. We'll go get, and another one, just as nice. I forget, like Michael Kors or whatever, right? And I'm just wondering, like, why the hell is Louis Vuitton so damn expensive? Are their cow hides different than other? I mean, to me, it all just leather's leather. I don't understand why things are so damn expensive.
You're paying for branding. It's the same reason why, when we would buy a Champion shirt when we were kids, not anymore. For some reason, they're expensive. But as a kid, they were basically free. And then,
I remember that. Because even when I got jerseys when I played football, it was Champion. It said Champion on the whatever.
Well, yeah, because they were cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean,
it was like the members only jacket.
Exactly.
Members only jackets became starter. Once they became starter, they actually went up in price.
That's so crazy to me, but you heard it here, folks. We're just talking. You don't have to spend a damn $1 billion. You can get the same crap at a half price.
Yeah.
Well, if I got to figure, there's got to be a place in Houston that sells all the knockoffs, just like
I'm sure there are.
Philly.
Yeah, there's flea markets. Yeah.
There's the swap meet there.
What's interesting? My ex-wife, since we're talking about expensive crap, she went to Paris, France, went to Louis Vuitton factory, learned all about the stitching, how to notice the original stuff from the knockoff stuff. Because what she would do is she would go and buy them online, the used Louis Vuittons or whatever, send them to the cleaners, get them refurbished, and then sell them for almost at brand new cost. And it didn't cost her nothing really, a couple $100 to refurbish it. And I just thought that was interesting, but you have to be really good at it to notice the knockoffs from the real stuff, because some of the stuff looks damn near real, but the stitching can be different. And because Louis Vuitton has a certain kind of stitching, and she was telling me, oh yeah, this is how you know. You look at the stitching, that tells you if it's a knockoff or the real deal. I'm not smart enough to look at that crap. I mean, I would just buy it and think it's probably the real thing.
Yeah.
wedding, you get a cubic zirconia rather than a diamond. It's kind of the same, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you know how to tell the damn difference, to me, I wouldn't. If I got a quick glance, I'd think like, wow, that's an expensive ring. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's subtle differences.
Right.
I mean, so you got to be looking for it. Yeah. Like on diamonds, they show up different under X-ray, and the color spectrum is different when it refracts light rather. So I mean, there's ways you can tell, but at the end of the day, who cares? I guess that's the thing.
I mean, let's be honest. If you're a female, maybe you care because that's your stick. But if you're a guy, care less. I mean, honestly, I could care less. Really. But in other news, hey, did you see that Kansas passed that law where now they're trying to lure the Royals and the Chiefs back into and make it a Kansas City or a Kansas team rather than a Missouri team? Have y'all saw that? I saw that on ESPN this morning.
Well, I know that they've been talking about it with the Chiefs. That conversation's been happening since the end of the season.
Right. I mean, do you think it's going to happen? Do you think they're actually going to move to Kansas, or do you think they stay in Missouri?
No, I don't think they move.
Because that would be a good impact financially, for the state of Kansas if they were to do that.
Sure. Yeah, I don't foresee that actually getting anywhere. Mostly it's just them leaning on them for stadium purposes. I can't imagine they're going to let those teams leave. I mean, who knows, I guess, but I'd be surprised because that's just a huge money getter for the state. So I can't imagine they would do that.
Yeah, I can't imagine either. And in all honesty, though, you got to think Kansas does, or Kansas City, Kansas, the Kansas side of it does benefit from that because it's right there. It's not like the bars aren't having those fans and stuff, and they're visiting and paying money, and they're not selling merch in Kansas. I mean, there has got to be some still or some kind of runoff into that city, that side of the city.
So obviously there is, right? I mean, people are going to be staying in some of those hotels because it's going to be, cheaper and whatever.
Right.
I mean, so obviously they benefit, but at the same time, it's all the revenue that's driven from the stadium being there.
Right.
That I can't imagine they'd want to get rid of.
Right. I agree with you because that's more stadiums they'd have to build if that was the case. And that's just a lot of wasted money. Honestly, could be put to other things, quite honestly. But I don't think the taxpayers are going to want to pick up that tax bill either because you have to build 2 brand new stadiums. Can you imagine 2 stadiums on your tax bill?
Yeah, I mean, we did it here in Seattle.
Okay.
We tore down 1 and built 2. So,
I mean, you're right. Okay.
We had the Kingdome, and then we built, at the time it was Safeco Field, and now it's T-Mobile Park, and then, and of course, Lumen Field. So, so we built 2 stadiums where 1 stadium was. So, they definitely will do it. And again, I can't imagine they're going to let the teams leave, even though they're still technically there. The state's going to want all that revenue.
Right. Speaking of Seattle, since I know since we're kind of talking about stadiums up there, I was doing a little in-depth research on the Seattle Seahawks upcoming season at 24 for 100 yards, and we were looking at into that team, and you guys are coming along over there. You got with that new offensive coordinator and McBride. They're really expecting a lot more out of Najigba this season than what he even had last season. Like he's poised for a breakout. And then that cornerback you guys drafted, they're really expecting, I forget his name, but they're expecting a lot to come out of him. And they're expecting McBride and company to really help develop him. And even really your secondary, they're saying, your secondary is pretty deep. And they're really expecting a lot out of that secondary side. Linebackers, they were saying, because you lost Bobby Wagner, still kind of was some question marks there. But, all in all, though, Gino really loves what this Grubbs, I think is his name, the guy out of Washington, which developed Penix and put him into Heisman contention. I mean, I wonder, it would be interesting to see what he does with Gino and how much he can elevate Gino's game. Gino seems to really like the guy.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested to see what McDonald does with this defense. Obviously, they had a fantastic defense with the Ravens. The big concern with the Seahawks, especially for this year, is, do I think the defense gets better? Sure, because they've had a bottom 5 defense the last 5 years in a row. So it doesn't, you kind of up is the only way you can go.
Right.
That being said, there's only I want to say there's only like 5 guys that have multi-year contracts, 5 or 6 guys on this defense, and everybody else is on 1-year prove-it deals. So either they prove it and you can't afford to keep everybody, or they're bad and you let them go. But I mean, most of our defense is a rental at this point. So going to be interesting to see how it is that comes together. But yeah, Smith likes what Grubb is putting together. And I would bet if you were going to pick like a dark horse tight end to have a big year, it would be Noah Fant.
Absolutely. That's what we were talking about. That's what Logan was saying, the same thing, that he felt like Fant would have a lot to contribute this year. What do you think? Like, where do you guys, like, if you had to put an early prediction on where do you think you're going to slide in your division, with the Rams obviously showing some signs of improvement and things of that nature, and then the worst, obviously, the 49ers? Do you think you come in third in your division, or do you think you could slide up into second, just under the 49ers?
Yeah, so I think they're going to be second. The Rams, they still have some things to put together. The Seahawks are much closer because we already know what the offense can be.
Right.
Now, last year, the offensive line was hurt. They weren't able to do as much as they were the year before. But the year before, until guys started getting hurt, they were a top 5 scoring offense. So they have basically that entire crew back, and the offensive line is better. So I would imagine that it's going to be an offense that can score, because
Bo froze up. Put it right in the middle of it. So Pags, while we're waiting on him to unfreeze, so Josh
I don't
Jacobs,
think they're going to score at all.
not going to score at all. Yeah, no, it's
not on time, Pags.
But no, I might as well just knock him out of the group altogether. But yeah, no, it's going to be, they're going to be able to put up some points. And as long as the defense can take a step forward, they don't have to be fantastic, but if they can be middle of the road, it'll be a team that can put up 9 wins.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I was seeing it too. I mean, the Seahawks do have a pretty good schedule. I mean, you guys don't have a light schedule. I mean, you're playing the playoff teams.
That's why I think, although the team will be better year over year, the record will be the same, because the schedule is much tougher. And even though they're a better team, it probably doesn't equate to more wins, only because the schedule is wildly different.
But if you look at Green Bay last year, I mean, they made it really, pretty deep into the playoffs, and they were a 9-8 team. So, I mean, you got to be 9-8 regular season, but sometimes, when you really hit the playoffs, that could be enough to spark them up a notch.
I mean, that was the Giants for their second Super Bowl with Eli.
Yeah,
they were a wild card team. Like, they were not special, but they did rattle off 4 wins when it mattered. And that's all you need to do. Once you throw your hat in the ring, you're 4 wins away. What you do up to that point only matters about getting in.
Yeah.
Well, the Giants at that time also had injuries on defense, and everybody got healthy at the right time, which is exactly what happened with Green Bay last year. So I'm surprised that you really think that Seattle is going to beat out the Rams. I think the Rams did much more to improve their team than Seattle did. And I just don't think that Seattle is going to have enough to be able to do that. However, I do believe that the 49ers are going to take a step back. I think it's going to be a lot less 49ers, especially if they trade Ayuk. Because I hear that there's rumors going on about that.
That is the real question moving forward, isn't it? Is what Ayuk is going to do. There was the audio clip of him saying they don't want him back. So
I saw that. Yeah.
If that's true, then yes, I really do think they take a step back, because he was a huge element for them. And the other 2 pieces that are their go-to guys are both guys that get hurt. So if you don't have Ayuk in there especially when some of those guys go down, absolutely. Like it could be a very different team.
And that really is your physical receiver for those guys is Ayuk. I mean, that's your big physical receiver. And I think every team needs to have somebody like that, especially in the slot or something like that, where you're going over the middle to where you get the yards after the catch. I think that's where Ayuk is really beneficial. And I do think that, like Pag said, I think they do take a step back, because if Ayuk isn't there, that's really going to hurt them, I think, in a lot of different ways that maybe they're not looking at. Or maybe they are looking at it and just feel like they can overcome it. Who knows?
Well, plus, I also believe that that their quarterback is going to have that a real sophomore slump. Like I know that it's this is going to be his third season, but I really believe that he has it. Like everything last year was little dink and dunk stuff, and It was a surprise when he was able to throw the ball like 30 yards. But it was only 30 yards. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was like he had a great arm that could throw it down the field and go crazy. So,
I
just think that they're going to win. I think they're going to still win the division. I just don't think they're going to be anywhere near as dominant as they were last year.
I think that's definitely true if they lose Ayuk. If they don't, if they run back their team from last year, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll cruise to a division win. But if they lose Ayuk, that is a big thing for them to lose. And of course, people are so kind of over the top both directions with Purdy. They either think he's nothing or they think he's elite. And I don't think either one of those things is true. I think he's very good on an incredibly good team. I mean, it's not like there's only two options where you're a bust or you're elite. I mean, there's plenty of room in the middle for where it is. He is like, he's a consistent guy. He makes good decisions, but you don't see anything special out of him week in and week out.
Right. I mean, he could literally be the sixth best quarterback in the NFC and still be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with when you have McCaffrey with you and even Samuel, like those two guys are going to be able to carry a lot of the offense in the first place.
No question.
And I feel like that's what's made him pretty good. You take out we found out last year, you take out one of those pieces and the house of cards falls, because it's literally you need all three. Deebo Samuel, McCaffrey, and Purdy.
Yeah, well, they also lost one of their key pieces of their defense too.
Well, no, that was he got hurt. He did the ACL, right? Like he's going to be out for the year this year, right?
That I'm not sure. Offhand.
He did that in the Super Bowl. I remember where he ran onto the field. He jumped up to run on the field.
Right. That's right.
So I got to imagine he's still out, at least for a little while.
Yeah, no, I forgot about that. So yeah, that's true. That's rehab is probably going to be into the season.
That's what I would think. But last year when they had a 3-game losing streak, it was because they had lost Deebo Samuel for those games. And ultimately, you take away Deebo, because last year was like the first year McCaffrey was able to play all year long without really getting hurt. Yes. I think he missed one game. So, I mean, that's a rarity for him because he's overutilized. And it's going to be the same thing again this year, especially if they take away Ayuk.
No, exactly. If they lose Ayuk, I would bet that CMC gets hurt.
Yeah, without a doubt.
No, I would put money on it.
Yeah, because it's going to require more from him to fill the spot when he leaves. And every time you put that much on Christian, he does. He gets hurt. I mean, you only use the guy so much. I mean, the body's going to wear down. So.
Yeah, right. Especially as a running back. You only have so many hits in you.
Yeah.
So, and he's getting old. I mean, I know he's still young, but he's getting old. He's been in this league, like 9 years now?
No, exactly. In running back years, he's an old man.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones is 30 right now, and he's going over to Minnesota to pick up the reins where basically they had nobody. So it's going to be interesting. You know, he has missed a lot of games, Aaron Jones, you know, with those injuries. So it's going to be interesting to see how and what he can produce, you know, with this Minnesota team as they're trying to figure out who their field general is really going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
and just to say like that, with Aaron Jones, I mean, obviously, he's one of those guys that you feel like should get thrown onto the IR for the middle of the season anyways, because it was him coming back that really propelled Green Bay.
Right.
You know, because they didn't have a running back before that. And then he showed back up and he was well rested and was able to just go ahead and you know, be the star running back of that team, where they didn't have any running back, and giving them that option really was what confused Dallas, because they didn't really have a lot of tape on it. And ultimately it was, you know, the same thing. Like even they were really a drive away from beating San Francisco.
Yes.
Look, let's not talk about Dallas. That whole damn team was lost. It wasn't just Aaron Jones. The damn cornerbacks were over there eating Doritos, and they were trying to figure out what the route was being run. Okay, let's not talk about Dallas. That's a painful subject, Pags. Painful.
Hey, listen, I was being nice. I mean, I
know you
go
were.
ahead and go a little
That's
bit
the
further.
sad part about it. The sad part about it is you're being nice, and it still is painful.
Yeah, well, you know, when you fall apart to the degree they did, it's pretty
okay,
rough.
Bo. I've already acknowledged it. No need to run the salt in the wound. It is thoroughly salty.
I mean, you got to finish filling the hole.
No, I've literally got a brine developing on my heart right now from this. Okay, there's a brine on it. That's how salty.
But listen, brighter days are ahead. You guys got Zeke Elliott.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. The second time is the right time. Hey, speaking of running backs, when we come back from Station ID, I would like to figure out what you guys think the Green Bay Packers can expect from Josh Jacobs. Will he have another down year like last year, or will this be a resurgent back to his glory days?
Yeah, that's a good question. But let's go ahead and do this station ID. And of course, this show is brought to you in part by True Fusion Gym right here in Western Washington, with locations in Bellevue, Ballard, and their new one in University Village. And of course, you can hit the QR code right there on the screen, end up with a free 5-day pass. And again, check out the new locations. That pass will get you into all three. Be sure to check those locations out at True Fusion Gym. And of course, if you are here in Western Washington as well, if you go to tonight, you will see me with our AFL team, the Washington Wolfpack. We'll be down at the Queen Anne Beer Hall from 7 to 9. There's a meet and greet with the team. Come out, have a beer with me, and let's talk some football. All right.
Queen Anne. They got good pretzels there.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. If anybody came out that's watching that came out for the Seahawks draft party, it was a ton of fun, and so nice. same location.
Actually, and we had a pregame, like a pre-day, I guess a pre-party before Sunday when we were out there at that Queen Anne. So that's actually a good spot. The guy who owns it is from Philly.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Before you talk about Josh Jacobs, I just want to address Scott there. Scott, he will not be in a wheelchair. He's been doing Pilates, yoga. He just got a sponsorship with Subway. So he's been getting nutrition in his body. I think we're getting him down. So I expect to at least have him walk on the field. Now, what he does from there, I don't know. But I do think he won't be in a wheelchair because of the Pilates, the yoga, and the Subway. I think we're going to be fine.
Are we talking about Zeke?
Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah, because well, that's okay. At least he's going to have his sports bra on.
That's right. That's right. And with the new pricing, he's going to be able to eat his $50 footlong.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, promo code Fat Boy. Let's go.
So, what is the over under on yards for him for the season? 600, 650?
I'm going to go with the under if it's 650.
Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. I mean, who's going to come up behind him? We still got Deuce Vaughn, I guess, on there. We'll see what he can do, but yeah, it's going to be very abysmal, our running game. I don't expect much.
I actually believe that they're going to start to use CeeDee Lamb similar to Deebo Samuel.
Oh, that would be interesting if they did. I could see him doing that. I don't know if they'll have the same success as Deebo had, but I could see them trying that.
I mean, that's the only thing that I could think of that would make any sense in the process. You know what I mean? But is that
something that Zimmer would typically do? Is that something that he'd put in his play calling? I don't know if Zimmer's ever done anything like that before. He's always kind of been more straightforward about it.
I think he's just going to piss everybody off. And like I said, this is going to be a sinking ship for you guys this year. So
it really is. It really is. And I think Mike's out the door. Unfortunately, if I had a crystal ball, I would say Zimmer slides left. And then we have a few more down years of shittiness. And then I think Zimmer will hopefully be gone. And then it'll be a coach to be named later after Jerry does his interviews to figure out who's the best yes man. And then from there, we'll figure it out.
No, I thought they've already said, hey, listen, after we suck this year, we're getting Belichick.
Now, if they brought in Bill, I might actually have a little bit of optimism. I don't know what he can do, but it certainly would be better than Zimmer. Let's just put it that way. It would be better than Zimmer.
I think you would become the Cleveland Browns.
Probably.
I'll be dead honest.
You really would. Yeah.
That's what I believe. So, I mean, I can't guarantee it, but it's possible that that's where you guys would be at.
Yeah, I mean, after this year, not that this year is going to be great anyway, but after this year, I mean, the wheels are coming off anyway.
Oh, absolutely, the wheels are coming off. I mean, they don't have no damn money.
Yeah,
especially after they pay Zeke. If they cave in and pay in that $60 million, I mean, that's 20% of the cap. I mean, what are they going to have left? I mean, he's going to want a big payday. Michael Parsons is going to want a big payday. I mean.
You mean Dak, right? Because they're not paying Zeke again.
Oh, God, no. If they paid Zeke, I would. God, if they paid Zeke. You know, the sad thing is, you know, we laugh about it, but there's a lot of – I can see it happening. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that shit. That's the sad part about it, you know? I mean –
I just got to my my place after driving for 2 hours, so I'm going to let you go, but I will be on tomorrow.
No Speedo pads. Don't be wearing no Speedo out there.
Yeah, I'm not a Speedo guy.
Good.
Yeah, that's right. This is a naked beach.
Yeah,
thank you. Wear your sunblock.
All right, sounds good.
Take it easy, man.
I'll talk to you.
Good stuff.
Hey, I got $50 that says he don't wear no damn sunblock. He's gonna go out there and
I bet he does.
He's gonna put that nice olive skin out there, thinking he won't get burned.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I can do the same thing, but if I'm going to be there all day, then I'll throw some on. And yeah, Dak is definitely. I don't really see a scenario where he stays. Not with all the contracts they got to do, and not with the fact that he's already a $60 million hit for the next season. You know, it doesn't make sense for him to stay. But you know, it's the Cowboys. So then,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, Bo. I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now, because I know like I said, we were looking at some of these teams and we were diving into them and we're talking about leadership and things like that and development of leadership within these teams and organizations. Yep. You know, when I think of leaderships and quarterback realm, you know, not the high dollar, but just the leadership and the success of their leadership. Patrick Mahomes comes to mind. Montana comes to mind. Tom Brady for sure comes to mind, right? Those guys, you know, they weren't about the money. Let's be honest. If Patrick Mahomes wanted if you want to be the highest paid quarterback, he would be. But he knows that if he does that, he's not going to be able to field a team that's going to make him look good and can be competitive. Tom knew it. Montana, all the great leaderships knew that. These new wave of quarterbacks that are coming through, Bo, I think it's a lack of leadership on them. When they want to get the highest dollar, I understand everybody wants to get a high dollar, but to some degree, does that show like a lack of leadership on their part?
That's nothing new. Aaron Rodgers has done it.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple times, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a mindset thing. It's are you a me guy or a we guy?
Right.
And are you interested in personal accolades or are you interested in winning rings?
Right.
Because those are wildly different.
Yeah.
And, I look at it this way. If you are, as you come into the league, if you don't win in your first, on your rookie deal, but you play well enough to get your money, right? Set yourself up, because football is a short career. Even if you stay in it a long time, it's a short career, all things considered. So then after your first one, after you've gotten your payday, if you haven't won a ring yet, that's where you start saying, hey, you know what? Let me take some, less contract here, less guarantee here, stuff like that.
Right.
Roll some of it into signing bonuses so that the cap isn't crazy, just so that you can have the opportunity to win.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, championships is what you want. And also, when you're looking at your post-football career, rings matter. If you want a broadcast career, if you want to do, other types of endorsement things after your career is over, rings matter. And so you want to win those things. I don't know. I'm a big fan of, like, when I play sports, I want to win, right? So I don't want to necessarily be, I guess let me explain it this way. I would rather be a high-level starter on a good team than be the all-star on a bad team.
Right. You know what? And I will tell you, it's either rings that matter or really big personalities that matter. And what I mean by that, a perfect example of what I'm talking about is Charles Barkley. No rings, but big personality. It's got to be something that's going to be a ratings grabber, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Tebow. No rings on Tebow, but yet he was broadcasting for a while.
And Chuck just says dumb stuff.
And he does say dumb stuff. He does.
But and Tebow is still broadcasting. He just primarily does college.
Yeah. Well, that really is kind of more of his niche anyway.
Well, it's the only thing he played well.
Well, that's true. I mean, you did make it to the playoffs with Denver, though. I mean, I don't want to take that away from him, but yeah. I would say, did anybody? Nobody really thought he was going to get to the playoffs, and he did. I mean, there was a lot of things going against him.
Game on like his only good throw of his career.
No, but back to Josh Jacobs, man. What do you think? Because a lot of people say that when a running back becomes a free agent and goes to another team, especially to try to resurrect what he's doing, that it just never really pans out. And that's kind of where Josh is. Josh is he's teetering about 30 or close to 30, and he's coming off a down year with the Raiders, which is why they let him go. And then he's with the Packers. What are you expecting from him?
Scott, I believe you spelled that wrong. It's supposed to be with a U. It's a terrible take.
Terrible take, yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know exactly what we're going to see out of Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I mean, it's you hope it's good,
right?
I mean, that's what you're hoping for. Besides, you want to see these running backs start to put numbers back up so that they can actually get paid again,
right?
I mean, because their pay is right there with the high-end kickers. Like, what are we even doing right now? So, yeah, I mean, Jacobs is primed to have a solid year. I hope he does. I hope he can stay healthy, but we'll see. That's the biggest thing with really all the running backs that are out there is they're all kind of injury prone. So some of that has to do with the position in general, but it seems like these guys are a little bit more banged up consistently than the guys in the past, especially when you're thinking of guys like LT and Adrian Peterson and I mean Marshawn for most of his career. And I mean, when you're thinking back to a lot of those running backs, it seems like these newer guys are getting hurt more often. Obviously, guys like Derrick Henry are later in their career, so some of that plays a role. But but yeah, I don't know. And Scott, on your other comment there, who's the first $60 million quarterback? That will be Dak, based on the fact that Trevor Lawrence got 55 for having very similar numbers to Mac Jones. And when you think of Daniel Jones getting 40, who had a good season because of Saquon Barkley, Dak being, he was a top 5 quarterback last year and He was in the conversation for an MVP. For him to get an extra $5 million a year is not a stretch.
No, not at all.
I can see him being a $60 million a year QB. Do I think he's worth it? No, he really falls in that same realm to me as a Kirk Cousins. Guys that are good stat machines, but can't get it done in prime time. Right. That is really that's Dak to me. That's
absolutely
the table.
Absolutely. That's actually a really good comparison. I like that because I definitely agree with that. Even in the Matt Ryan category where, great, but just never could, especially in the Super Bowl where he was up a large amount over the Patriots and yet still couldn't get it done. That wasn't all his fault.
I was going to say that's the defense. When you're
I'm just saying, but he's still close to it, but just couldn't quite.
Sure.
Yeah. Get over that hump. Because honestly, in that second half, not only did the defense let the pressure off of Brady, which obviously let Brady go to work, but then they weren't really able to put up any more offensive pressure either in that second half. So really,
I guess here's the distinction between them for me is when you're looking at Cousins and Dak, right?
Yeah.
Both of them during the regular season, the stats are great. And then they flame out immediately when the playoff starts. With Matt Ryan, you can actually make the case that he's a better quarterback. He made it to a Super Bowl. He's had success in the playoffs.
Right.
You look at Dak and when you look at Kirk Cousins, they both won one playoff game.
Yeah, but I will tell you this though: some of that even wasn't Dak's fault. If you look at last year against Green Bay, that certainly wasn't Dak's fault. That was the defense's fault that they couldn't do anything against the secondary. They couldn't even get pressure on Jordan Love. They let Jordan Love do whatever he wanted. He had a field day out there. So
there's
a lot of that. Some of the stuff defensively.
So he didn't have a great game, but that loss was not on him.
Yeah,
right? He played good enough to win. That defense. Yeah. Was god awful. And Scott, CJ making 70, we'll see. If he can replicate this last year again, sure, that conversation can be had. CJ, despite the fact that team is loaded, has ran his mouth a lot this offseason and has talked about defenses that he's gonna see. So there's a good chance that everybody's going to be bringing their game to this Houston team and circling this on their schedules because
absolutely. I didn't even hear him saying that. I didn't realize he was saying that. I was about to say, man, CJ really has shown a lot in that rookie season. I'm rooting to see what he does in his sophomore. But now that, like you said, he's been talking, just let your play do the talking. Why are we talking all this smack? Just go out there, handle your business. Your play will shut everybody up. Come on.
That's the thing. If he wasn't running his mouth, I think he was primed to have a huge year. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are going to be paying more attention because of the success they had last year. But
now, if he walks upright at the end of the season, because everybody's going to want to take his head off.
That's exactly right. You go on a bunch of podcasts and you talk bad about defenses that you're seeing, man, there's going to be some cheap shots brought to you, and that's how you get hurt. Is you'll have some of these defensive players that are like, oh, you want to talk? All right, that's cool. I'll earn this 15-yarder. Yeah, you think it's going to be illegal contact? Oh, have a lunch, buddy, because you're going to get a lot of illegal contact today.
Hey, are we almost going to go back to the New Orleans headhunting days?
There will probably be. It probably won't be headhunting so much as if the opportunity is there.
Oh, he's taking it
after the play. There's probably going to be a little bit more physical contact than. And again, even when I played, I had coaches that were like, "Look, if you're going to get a flag, make it count."
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're going to go blow someone up and it's going to be a penalty, earn that penalty. Like go light them up.
Yeah. No, that makes sense because I mean, look, you're already going to suffer the loss of yards or whatever the case may be. You might as well make it to where he remembers it, to where maybe it'll psychologically screw him up or physically screw him up. Either way,
100%. Well, mostly you want to get in their head. You don't want them to leave the game.
Absolutely.
You want to get in their head. Because then all of a sudden, instead of going out and really reaching for a catch, it's alligator arms. He's like, that hit hurt.
I mean, we're not trying to do it, hurt somebody like Alex Smith, but I guarantee you they're going to make it. They're going to, and you know what? Sometimes when you see the opportunity and you do put that little extra, sometimes you can really.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're never trying to knock them out of the game, but you're trying to knock them off their game.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Before we leave off the Green Bay Packers, I want to ask you, last year, Dobbs for the wide receiving core, Christian Watson's actually the wide receiver one, but Dobbs, because of injury to Watson, Dobbs actually outperformed Watson in that year. But now Watson looks like he should be healthy, like fully healthy coming into this season. And with the fully healthy Watson, which is their highest pick, I think it was a second round pick, what do you expect from that core in terms of Jordan Love? I mean, I got to imagine that they have another opportunity to really go deep in the playoffs.
Well, that division is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
When you look at the Lions, they're still that team, right? They're going to win that division.
Yeah.
Green Bay is going to battle for a wild card spot.
Yeah.
Bears have the opportunity to. They have a ton of nice pieces. Now, whether or not the coaching can get it all to work and if the Band-Aids they put on the offensive line hold, time will tell. And then when you look at the Vikings, remember they were close with a rotating cast of quarterbacks last year.
Yes.
So you get some.
They're going to be like that this year too.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, you got stability, right? They have Sam Darnold, which – we didn't see him do anything with the Jets or the Panthers, but let's be honest, both those teams were dumpster fires when he was there. So going to be tough to win in those scenarios anyway. And then they also have JJ McCarthy. So they have guys that can throw the rock. Now, obviously JJ McCarthy is a little bit of a question mark since we don't know exactly what he is yet. But when you think of the fact that they have Josh Jacobs, and of course you have a defense that really came on as the year went, that's a team that can also be a real problem. You could potentially see 3 of the teams leave from the North.
Yeah. Question, because I know we're almost out of time, but I wanted to end on this one. I know you talked about the Bears, ton of pieces. Word out of Chicago, I saw, or I read an article, was they are not happy with the amount of running that Caleb Williams is doing, to the point where they even said, look, stop trying to be Justin Fields out there and start being Caleb Williams and start throwing the damn rock. Stop running so much. So it seems like there's a little bit of a strife right now with how he's playing in Chicago, or at least in the mini camps and OTAs.
Yeah, there's actually kind of a lot of problems. They're saying he's talking too much also. So we'll see what the chemistry is like for that game. On paper, obviously they look like they should be a decent team. Huge question marks on the offensive line, but if he can stay upright, he has weapons. That defense really came on at the end of the year also. So we'll see what the Bears are. On paper, again, they should be good. It's going to come down to a chemistry thing, and it's going to come down to a lame duck coach that should have been fired this last year. Ultimately, unless they do something amazing this year, probably gets fired. And, if there was any questions about what their new quarterback is going to bring to the table, he's going to be set back if it's got a whole new coaching regime coming in. We've watched it tons of times. It never works very well. So the Bears are a huge question mark.
Yeah, I really think that Washington got the best quarterback in the draft in Daniels. I think that guy is going to really be the guy for them. I think it's almost like last year where, I think Stroud was the best one in the draft and Houston wound up walking away with that one. And I think Washington's going to be the one that walks away with the better quarterback than what Chicago got at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's possible. And this is a conversation we'll have to have more on Friday because I don't know if Jaden Daniels will be, because Penix is still in there as well, who was the best thrower of the football really in college. So, but other than that, that brings us to the end of the show. Be sure to stay tuned in the next hour for the next programming. And of course, if you're on either of our YouTube channels, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring content to you. Other than that, see y'all tomorrow.